So, with that in mind, we are going to get straight into this podcast episode, and a whole lot of things have been going on. But the first thing that I want to tackle is the WNBA. We have concluded the WNBA finals, and the New York Liberty, wow, they come and they win their first ever WNBA title against the Minnesota Lynx, winning it 67-62 in overtime. The first WNBA finals that has ever went into overtime. They come and they score 7 points in overtime to knock off the Minnesota Lynx 67-62. MVP goes to Jonquel Jones, who played great. 17 points. Let me go ahead and show y'all. She had 17 points, 5 attempts, shooting 50% from the field, hit some clutch free throws as well. And overall, the New York Liberty, they pulled it out. And this game was close. It was sort of kind of like Game 4. Game 4 was neck and neck. Neck and neck the whole way, but Minnesota pulled it out. But see, coming in Game 5, it got close. It was close all the way in the fourth quarter. Then in overtime, they just pulled it out. They came in, they got the tip off of overtime, hit the three-pointer, boom, right then and there. In Minnesota, they only scored one time in overtime, and that was the difference maker. Now, what I will say about the Minnesota Lynx, this is a resilient team. Shout out to the Minnesota Lynx for even getting here. Because personally, I had the Connecticut Sun getting to the WNBA finals, and I had the Las Vegas Aces get into the finals. I didn't even think that the Liberty, even though they were the best team in the WNBA, was going to make it, and I for sure didn't even think that the Lynx were going to make it. I thought they were going to make it to the second round and they were going to end up losing. But shout out to the Minnesota Lynx, and this series was actually really interesting. Minnesota from Game 1 showed how resilient they are. They came back from down 18 and won Game 1. So this is how you knew, okay, they can beat this team. And they beat this team, if I'm not mistaken, 3 times in the regular season. 3 times in the regular season. So we knew it was going to be a series, and it was close. Game 1 they won. Game 4 they won. And they split at home, they split on the road, and they just couldn't pull it out. They fell just short. Now we're going to go straight into the ending with Breanna Stewart. That was a foul. That was a foul. To me, that was a foul. Even though she traveled, what I will say, she did travel. She most definitely traveled. I want to see if I can pull it up.
The moment the referees ruined the WNBA championship, the New York Liberty were down by 2 points with 6 seconds left. They inbound the ball to Breanna Stewart. She gets away with the travel but draws a foul. The Minnesota Lynx.
I'm calling that a foul. Now, what I will say is she did travel. She literally caught the ball, took 2 steps, and then moved. Like, she took 2 steps and then, went like she traveled. But she got hit. I'm calling that a foul personally. Now, would I have called it at that point in time? Everything is on the line. Me being a ref, you gotta call it. You gotta call it right. You do gotta call it right. I personally would have called it a foul, but you really can't get mad if they didn't call it a foul because she did have her hands up like this. So me personally, okay, they called the foul, but Minnesota had chances to win this game. Minnesota had a chance to win this game. She missed 2 free throws, and then I think the next possession, they gave it to who they need to give it to. Nafisa Collier, she just didn't make, they couldn't get past 2 point. They couldn't get past a 2-point lead. And that's really what killed them. She missed the free throws to make it 60-60 the first time. Then she got that foul call, and she tied up the game. And another reason why they could have won the game, Sabrina Ionescu put on her best Klay Thompson performance when it came to crunch time. Shooting 1 for 19. Are you serious? She shot 1 for 19. Then in Game 4, Breanna Stewart, she shot 5 of 21. So they weren't even playing good. Sabrina Ionescu ain't really played good the whole entire series. Yes, she did her thing in Game 3. And she hit that clutch shot. But overall, she didn't really do all of that in the whole WNBA finals. She didn't. And when it came crunch time, yes, she hit that 1-3, which was huge. When she did hit it, it was huge. It was in the fourth quarter. It was huge. Don't get it twisted. But you can't go 1 for 19 and you're arguably the best player, second best player on the team. You can't do that. You can't go 1 for 19. So Minnesota had chances in that game to win it. Nafisa Collier, she fouled out. She ended up playing good. Let's go ahead and look at the stats. Nafisa Collier had 22 points. Kayla McBride had 21. But other than that, no one else played good. No one else did anything. Courtney Williams didn't play good at all. And in overtime, she kept shooting the ball. Like the first 3 possessions, she shot it. I'm like, why are you not giving the ball to Nafisa before she fouled out? Like, you give it to Nafisa Collier, you give it to Kayla McBride, who's playing well. You haven't been hitting no shots. And I feel like they could have easily won this game. They could have won this game. If Sabrina's not playing good or Breanna Stewart isn't playing good, both of them did not play good this game, you should win. You should feel confident that you should win the game. Like, yes, that call was controversial. I'll admit it's controversial to call it at that time. But what are you gonna do in overtime when it was tied? You only scored 2 points. You can't score 2 points in overtime and expect to win the game. You can't. You're a resilient team. I love this team. This Minnesota Lynx team proved me wrong. You know. But overall, I just feel like when it mattered most, they just couldn't pull it out. And shout out to this particular season of the WNBA, getting the attention that it most definitely deserves. This game came on Sunday night. You're thinking that all the views is going to go to the NFL. My Pittsburgh Steelers was on that Sunday. And this game comes on and it was interesting. I'm pretty sure, I think it got a whole lot of views. A whole lot of views compared to previous years. So shout out to the WNBA for getting the viewership that it deserves. And this finals was actually interesting. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't none of that. Like, from game 1 all the way to game 5, it was interesting throughout. Interesting series, most definitely. But the New York Liberty, they pulled it out. They pulled this one out. If Sabrina Ionescu, Breanna Stewart, if they don't play well, if you just tell somebody that Sabrina Ionescu, the second best player, Breanna Stewart, the best player on the team, aren't going to play well, you tell someone that Sabrina's going to shoot 1 for 19 from the field and only hit 1 3, you would tell, man, they're going to lose that game. They're going to lose that game. That's what I would say. They will get blown out, double digits. But you had role players. You had role players that really, really, really stepped up. Sebali, 13 points off the bench. She came in clutch. She most definitely came in clutch. And she was one of the reasons that they won the game. Because of her. Her production was needed. It was most definitely needed. Because without her, they would not have won this game. They would not have won this game. But shout out to the New York Liberty for pulling this game out. They proved me wrong. Personally, for the series, though, I did have the Liberty winning. I had the Liberty winning in 4 games. That's what I had it going 4 games. I thought it was going to be like 3-1. But the Lynx, they were resilient, and they came back from 18 on the road and won the game. Like, they played. Overall, this WNBA series was good. This whole WNBA playoffs was really, really, really good. It was, it was fun watching. And it wasn't just because of Caitlin Clark. You saw other teams, other talent, and it was just fun. It was just fun to look at. But they say, Cheryl Reeve says that it was taken from them. I'm not going to say that because you did have opportunities to win. You had opportunities to win in this game. But shout out to the New York Liberty for winning their very first WNBA championship.